going for 11:30 at night, and unfortunately I can't sleep. I'm up sewing. And I had intended today to talk a lot more about some of the things that are in the headlines and also some effective nonviolent resistance strategies that we've seen throughout history. And unfortunately, I didn't get around to it. I had a lot going on today. I had the Indivisible weekly What's the Plan call, and then also my local Indivisible chapter had like a Crafters Against Fascism event this evening where we were working on signs and buttons for the upcoming protest on Labor Day. By the way, please go to May Day Strong. Sorry, I have my sewing light around my neck, so I can't lift my hand up too much or I'll blind you. Please go to maydaystrong.org and find one of the Labor Day protests that's around in your area this weekend. Some are on Saturday, some are on Sunday, and some are on Monday. I will be attending the one that my East Portland Indivisible chapter is hosting out here, and then I'm going to take the Max downtown and attend the big one that 5051 is hosting in downtown Portland on Labor Day. I think it's so important that we continue to show up and make a really declarative public statement to everybody that Americans are opposed to fascism, that the future belongs to the working class, not to billionaires, that this is a country that should prioritize people over profit, and that fascism will not be successful here. I do want to remind folks, as we are looking at a weekend of protests, and as there's going to be an upcoming announcement for a No King's Day 2 here in the next week or so, and I will definitely keep you updated on that. The purpose of big protests like this is not because we think it's going to stop fascism miraculously, right? If 12 million people show up in the streets, 3.5% of the American population, the fascists aren't suddenly going to be like, oh shit, guess we better, give up. We're all going to resign now and quietly go away. No, that's not how that works. You need at least 3.5% of the population engaged in sustained strategic resistance, not showing up to a protest, but actively working to erode the pillars of support under the Trump regime, actively looking for opportunities every day, no matter how small in your daily life, to say, I will not roll over for fascism. I will push back. That's how we stop this. But big protests are really important because they show other people you are not alone. Look at all of your neighbors who are standing up. Come and join us. They're absolutely recruitment events. They're absolutely an entry point for people to get plugged into resistance. People who maybe feel really dissatisfied with what is happening. They're really worried. They're really scared. They're really pissed off. Their quality of life is diminishing under the Trump regime. And they don't really know where to start. They're not as plugged in as you and I are. They want to do something. A protest, a family-friendly, non-violent event that is open and inclusive, that is where we get folks to say, I'm going to step out and try something. It's really important that we give people a chance to be new at this, a chance to try something out, to take a small risk, and to connect with other people and say, oh, okay, I don't have to do this alone. Actually, it's not up to me to stop fascism all by myself. Look at all of these people who are standing up. I can actually partner with them. And together, maybe we can do something about this. Maybe we can take care of each other. We can take care of the most vulnerable in our community. Maybe we can protect people in our community and push back. Okay, I can get on board with this. Most Americans are not radical, and most Americans are pretty overwhelmed just trying to survive day to day under a fascist regime. And I know people are constantly asking me, like, why are we not doing a general strike yet? And I've made a lot of videos on this subject because I think we need a general strike. I think we need really prolonged, sustained economic resistance, withdrawing our dollars and withdrawing our labor from the economy. Those are huge lifts. And we have to have a lot of people ready. We have to have a lot of groundwork laid before we can call for something like that. And we're just not there yet, y'all. And if you want to know how to get there, draw more people into the resistance. That's how you get there. You build a bigger coalition. Well, people have to be successful at these smaller actions that they are doing for the first time. They have to feel that success and say, I could do that. I'm capable. I did that thing. I showed up at a protest. It was scary. I didn't know anybody who was there. I was really worried. And actually, it was fine. And I felt really empowered. And I met really lovely people. And I'm ready to see what's next. At the end of the phone call today for Indivisible, Leah, who's one of the co-founders, said something that I thought was really insightful and accurate. She and I are very much on the same page about this. Give people low pressure asks, low risk asks, right? If you ask people to take some tremendous, huge risk for the first time when they don't have any skills or experience. They aren't used to stepping out like that. They're just going to balk. She and I are very much on the same wavelength about this. Ask people to do something small, like show up to a protest, or even smaller than that. Will you wear a button? I talked about this a couple of days ago. This is the insightful thing that she was saying around that. Ask people to wear a button because you help them build a shared identity with the resistance movement. Will you just wear something on your person that identifies you as part of the pro-democracy movement? Shared symbols help build shared identity. When people feel that they are included, they are welcome, they are part of a group, they start to invest in that group and build their identity around that group, they're willing to take bigger risks. They're willing to invest more. They're willing to give more. And Leah is so absolutely correct. That is what we need to be thinking about when we are looking at protests, when we're looking at inviting people to something for the first time, when we're meeting them in an event where we're tabling, we're handing out buttons or stickers or something like that. Invite people with low-level risks. Let them do something that helps them feel successful and builds their own personal identity, their own sense of like, yes, I am a member of the pro-democracy movement. I am somebody who can do something about this. So crucially important. So please think about that, because I'm sure as we're seeing more and more national days of action, more big protests that are forthcoming in the next several days and months, we're going to see that same chorus of folks who say, protests don't do anything. No, protests actually do a lot. It's just that you don't understand what the purpose of a protest is. Protests like the ones that the labor movement is putting on for Labor Day weekend through maydaystrong.org, protests like the ones that 5051 and Indivisible and other organizations put on are a crucial stair step for people. They are where people get their toe in the door. They're where people get a little taste of what it's like to stand up against fascism and to feel really empowered and to feel connected with other people, to feel part of something good and just and worthy. If we want to get to a place where we are asking people to do really big things like walk off the job, withdraw their labor from the workforce for days or weeks or months, we have to show them that they're part of a community that's going to take care of them, that's going to feed them and their children, help them pay their rent, that the sacrifice that they're making is worth it, that they are supported, they will not be left alone, and that together they can be part of something that will accomplish the job of stopping fascism, and that they get to be part of restoring democracy. It's part of building trust, it's part of building community, it's part of helping people be empowered to do the next thing, to take the bigger risks, to be invested in their own future, in the future of their country. So maybe that's a good way you can help other people reframe what these protests are about. Nobody thinks that the fascists are just going to up and quit if 5, 6, 7, 12 million people turn out on a weekend protest. We have to understand not only what our demands are of an event like that, but what our goals are for ourselves as well. And if we want to build toward those bigger actions that are actually going to stop all of this madness and help us reinstitute a stable government, help us build a better society going forward, got to give people a place to get their toe in the door and start flexing those muscles, building those muscles so that later on they can flex them in really significant ways in order to topple the pillars of support under the regime. Let's help bring people in. Let's help them feel included and empowered and part of a community, because they are needed. This is their country. This is our country. We are neighbors. We are fellow Americans. We need each other to get through this. We need each other to stop the fascists. It's going to take all of us. So think about these upcoming events as a place to help people step into that work. Think of it as an opportunity to help people understand that they can be supported and that also they can be part of the very good and worthy work of saving democracy, saving and protecting our neighbors, and building an America that is of, by, and for the people.